Question 4. Matthew writes down 3 different numbers. One number is a square number, the other 2 numbers are factors of 20, and the sum of the 3 numbers is 24. What 3 numbers did Matthew write down? So this is a 3-mark question. This here shows you what you're going to get your marks from. So 3 marks is if all 4 conditions are met, so your 3 numbers match 4 of these conditions. 2 marks if you can only get 3 of them, and 1 mark if 2 conditions are met. So we'll start off by looking at the language. So we've got 3 different numbers, so that's one of the conditions I have to meet. One number has to be a square number. You need to know your square numbers off by heart, really. They're underneath here. For a number to be square, then a number has to be times by itself to get that answer. So 1 times 1 is 1, so 1 is a square number. 2 times 2 is 4, so 4 is a square number. 3 times 3 is 9, 9 is a square number, and so on. If you don't know your times tables very well to know your square numbers, then you can also do it on a calculator, because this is the calculator paper. So for example, 1, the squared button is here. It'll have an X with a little 2 on it, 2 above. So 1 squared, you'll see that here, equals 1. 2, press the squared button, equals, so 2 squared equals 4. 15 squared equals 225, and so on. The other 2 numbers are factors of 20. So 1 is a square number. The other 2 numbers are factors of 20. So a factor is numbers that go into 20. And the sum of the 3 numbers is 24. So the sum means add. So if I add together the 3 numbers, they will make 24. Those are the conditions I have to meet. So it's probably easier to start with the other 2 numbers to get those worked out. So they are factors of 20. To work out the factors, it's easiest to do these in pairs and start with 1. So 1 times what is 20? 1 times 20 is 20. And then go on in ones. So 1 times 20, 2. Does 2 go into 20? Yeah, 2 times 10 is 20. 3 doesn't go into 20. 4 does go into 20. And 4 times 5 is 20. 5 we've already done, because 4 times 5 and 5 times 4 is the same thing. 6 doesn't go into 20. 7 doesn't go into 20. 8 doesn't. 9 doesn't. 10 does, and we've already got that. 10 times 2 is the same as 2 times 10. And once you've got halfway, then you're usually done. So here are my factors of 20. So 2 of my numbers are going to be 2 of these numbers. And now I need to choose the square number and then see which 3 add together to make 24. So I could choose any of these square numbers now. So 1 add 20 would be 21, that's not going to work. 1 add 2 would be 3, and then to make it up to 24 then I would need 21. That's not a square number. 1 add 10 is 11, and then I'd need 13 to make it up to 24. That's not going to work. 1 and 4 is 5, so I'd need a remainder of 19. 19's not a square number, so that wouldn't work. 1 add 5 is 6, so I would need 24 take away 6 would be 18 then. 18 is not a square number, so that wouldn't work. 20 and 2 would be 22, so I'd have 2 left over to make it up to 24. That wouldn't work because 2 is not a square number. 20 and 10 is 30. 20 and 4 is 24. and then I'd need nothing to add to 24, so that wouldn't work. 20 and 5 is too much. So 2 and 10 would be 12. 12 and 12 would be 24. 12 is not a square number. 2 and 4 would be 6, giving me 18. That's not going to work. 2 and 5 would add up to 7. So 24 take away 7 would leave me with 17. That's not a square number. So if we try 10 and 4 is 14. To make it up to 24, then I'd need 10. 10's not a square number. That's not going to work. 10 and 5 is 15. So to make it up to 24, then I'd need 9. 9 is a square number. So the options I've got here is 10, add 5. Those would be my two factors of 20. And then add on the square number of 9 would give me 24. So I've got two factors of 20. That's here. I've got a square number of 9. I've met that condition. They all add up to 24. I've met that condition. And all three of them are different. So I've met that condition as well. So first of all, we looked at the factors of 20. Then we added those together until we found a square number that then added to make 24. And then we made sure that they were all different, which they were. So those three are the correct options, 10, 5 and 9, obviously in any order. So because I've met all four conditions, I'd get 3 marks. So these are the marks available. If you mentioned at least three different square numbers and you've made some mistakes, the examiner would give you 1 mark. And if you listed at least 3 different factors of 20 but made mistakes elsewhere, the examiner would give you 1 mark. So the answers here take precedent over anything else, even if if you've made a mistake here, they have to mark these answers. So make sure you do those correctly. 5, 10 and 9. 5, 10, 9. Doesn't matter what order they go in.